I said. I have to be out of the house before she comes in. I can meet you this afternoon at your office? He said, no, let's meet at my apartment at 3 p.m. I don't want anyone else involved just yet. Dinner and drinks are on me. Also, drowning the pain a bit. I'm driving. You're getting drunk, George said firmly. I agreed, and we signed off immediately. That was my answer. I would hang out with George tonight and get shit-faced. By the time that I'd get home, Marge would be asleep, and tomorrow morning I could use the hangover as the excuse to stay away from her. My stomach suddenly sickened. It was almost 1 p.m. She would be with him shortly. I called Marge's cell phone and got her voicemail. I guess she didn't want to talk to me right now. I left her a message saying that I was going to see George and would be late. Eventually, I got back to work by starting on the video capture files from Monday to this morning. There I got my first surprise. Early Monday afternoon, a woman let herself in with her own card. The asshole immediately got up from his desk, swept her into his arms, and kissed her passionately. They retired to the bed for some horizontal bump and grind. I saved the file. Tuesday morning, he F.A. housekeeper. When he was done, she went to the bathroom to clean up, put her underwear back on, and left. Tuesday afternoon, another housekeeper knocked on his door. He let her in, gave her some cash. She knelt down in front of him. I copied the scenes for later use. It was about time to meet George, so I did another full backup, making an extra for George to keep. George picked me up, and we spent about 2 hours going over what I had found, and then we headed to the bar. It was about 1 a.m. when we left, but that is about all that I remember. Thursday morning, I awoke at about 9. The house was deserted, Marge and the kids long gone. There was a note on the table. It read, "Since you were so drunk last night, you didn't set your alarm clock. I am not your wake-up service." I chuckled, thinking, she is so pissed. Good. I won't have to work on staying away from her. Next, I called the office to let them know that I was sick. Then I headed to the motel to get the video that I was dreading to see. If you're enjoying my content, consider joining my Patreon community. By becoming a patron, you'll get access to full parts of my videos much earlier than everyone else. Plus, you'll be supporting me to create even more awesome content for you. Check out the link in the description to join now. On the way back, George called, saying that the investigation was now making real progress. The guy with the $5,000 bribe agreed to wear a wire. The methods that Perez and his buddies were using to steal had been tracked, and a preliminary report had been filed to base command. The expectation was that the MPs would conduct a raid on Perez's office, motel room, and house. His computers would be well searched, and there had better not be any keylogger running, sending data to me. I assured him that there would not be. George thought that the raids would happen in about 10 days, and hoped that I could hold off confronting Marge until then. Then he added a real kicker. Since there was a leak to Perez from procurement, Marge was now considered a person of interest. I was about to say, that was pretty stupid. Marge doesn't steal. Then I realized that I used to think that Marge would never cheat, either. We promised to talk tomorrow. I got home and downloaded the motel data as well as the house data. Then I started watching the Wednesday data until 12:30, but then stopped. Next, I checked his email and found what looked to be 2 other vendors who were bribing Perez. Those I forwarded to George. I found a few emails from his S. A couple of them gave dates and times when they would be there. I noted those as Perez would be too busy to notice that I was taking over his computer. Finally, it was time. I couldn't put off viewing the video of Marge. I fast-forwarded until he went to the door and my wife walked into the room. I stopped the playback and just sat there feeling like my guts were washing out of me. Hollow, sick, destroyed, miserable, mad. I felt them all, and others that I couldn't put names to readily. Eventually, I started the playback and watched them embrace and kiss passionately. Other than her reminding him to be gentler, they didn't say much as they undressed each other and rolled on the bed to fondle. With tears running down my face, I watched him feel her ass and just play with her body. Worse, I watched her respond to him. She was doing to him all of the things that she did for me. She made the same sounds and movements as she did for me. I stopped the recording and cried for a long time. I fast-forwarded. The second time she got it out, she said, "Too rough." He just said, "Take it be." She turned her face away and said, "No, you know I don't like that." He grabbed her hair and pulled her face back. I fast-forwarded until I saw her getting on the bed. She lay on her back, and I watched her open her for another man. Thursday evening was quiet. The kids were out. Marge and I did our own things without much communication. After everyone went to bed, I switched out the data recorder in her car and copied it. I couldn't resist checking the car data. I was betting that she talked to Ashley on the way to work. Marge would not have called on the bedroom phone because I was hungover and sleeping in there. And she wouldn't try in the kitchen as the kids might walk in at any moment. Sure enough, Ashley called Marge, asking how it went. Marge said, "It was fine with Will. I made him be gentler. He is still too rough, and he makes me do things I don't really want to do. But I enjoyed our time together." Quietly, Ashley asked, "But with David?" Marge wailed, "No, he didn't show up. He went out and got drunk with one of his buddies. He staggered and late as hell, stinking of alcohol, and collapsed into bed without saying a word to me. What did you do?" What could I do? I lay there steaming while he snored. This morning, I turned off his alarm clock, wrote a biting note, and left. Ashley noted, sometimes, once in a while, most of us do go out and tie one on. Sounds like bad timing is all. No, Marge wailed again. I hinted a couple of times to him about S last night. Yesterday morning, I told him I planned on wearing him out that night. He didn't say anything, just went to work. He didn't even say goodbye. Do you think he is suspicious or knows something? Ashley asked. Marge said, "No, how could he? I only Will when David is at work." No, I think David is mad that we have only had us once a week for a while now, and he's trying to get even by scorning me. That's a reach, girl. I think I am right, Marge said. He knew he could F me last night, the first Wednesday in months, and he turned it down cold. Then she added, "But damn it, I really wanted to F both of them yesterday. Damn David's male ego. He is going to find it quite cold in the bedroom for a while now." Ashley laughed a little and said, "Marge, it's female ego that is making you want them both in the same day. Let it go, at least for now. I guess. It's more than a guess. You have been holding out on David for months. He might be looking at that as you controlling him, and he might have fought back by denying you." Ashley explained, "He can't be happy, and you'd better fix that problem before you worry about F them both." That's what I was trying to do. Give David more S, Marge exclaimed. No, you made Wednesday night about what you wanted, not about what David needed, Ashley reminded her. You're right, but what should I do now? Ashley said, let it go. Maybe he didn't mean to scorn you. Just assume that that's the case and let it go. There is a good chance that David will want you tonight. I saved that conversation thinking, hot damn, I pissed her off royally and don't have to pay the piper. There was another call a few minutes later, Ashley again. Hey Marge, Ashley started out. You said that Will makes you do things that you don't want to do. Why do you let him? He's forceful and does what he wants. I got him to not F me quite as roughly, but he is just a rough lover, was the reply. Curious, Ashley asked, what kinds of things does he make you do? One thing yesterday. He put me on my knees on the floor with the back of my head against the bed. Since I was against the bed, I couldn't get away from it. That's bad, Ashley noted. Yeah, and then he pulled out and did something he knows I don't like. Gross. I didn't have a choice. It was disgusting. He smelled bad and tasted worse, Marge said. She added. Ashley said, man. Yeah, Marge agreed. I think he believes the P movies are real life. Weird. Thursday evening, Marge made overtures for S, but I ignored them. It was almost 2 a.m. before I went to bed, and she was asleep. Sorry, Ashley, you were wrong. I was up early Friday and went directly to work. I left around 3, taking the S-test kit with me, and stopped at the motel to get Thursday's and today's videos. Mary wasn't working at the bar, but I had a drink while waiting for the data to download. Getting home, I started copying the files into their storage locations and then used the S-test kit on Marge's underwear. The results were positive, though that didn't change anything. I had enough time remaining to review the new videos, and once again I was shocked. I opened the first file, and to this day, I wish that I had not. A young lady in a base military uniform entered his room. D-head, and she sat on the sofa and drank a couple of glasses of wine. She looked like she might be 20 or maybe 21, and perhaps weighed 110 pounds.